Hi, I'm Randy Altman with Post Perspective. We're here with SGO's Geoff and Adrián. Welcome.
Thanks, Randy. Nice to see you again.
Before we jump into what you guys are doing specifically as a company, let's talk about how the world and the industry has changed over the last 18 months and how you've all adapted.
Well, it certainly has changed over the last 18 months, and there's no question. I think sort of 18 months ago, things became incredibly challenging for everyone, and obviously including us. Everyone had to work from home and all that sort of stuff. So actually, for SGO's perspective, it was relatively easy to adapt because essentially we're a software developing company. So having people working at home doing what we do best actually was quite easy to put together. Obviously, meeting customers was all out of the window, so we had to do things differently from that side of it as well. But the good thing is that we're developing software, we're putting it out through the SGO shop. People are still actually buying the software, and last year, although it was a little bit of a roller coaster, actually things didn't tail off too much on the software side, and people were accessing software to be using it remotely. We had even people with high-end systems. We helped them actually get those systems, to a point where they could use those remotely at home as well. So that proved very, very successful. So yeah, last year was definitely interesting, and people learning to do things in kind of different ways. And obviously, because production stopped in a lot of occasions as well, I guess that probably helped people to not have to maybe find ways of doing things differently as well. So not necessarily they wanted to be in that position. But this year has been quite different. I mean, things definitely have got back to normal pretty rapidly, to be fair. And what we have seen is that the demand for those high-end systems, certainly in Japan, we've been putting big installations in to do 8K, for example. That's been amazing for us. So we have one customer who's put 3 8K systems in with their own SAN storage, almost a petabyte at each, and lots of render capability as well. So that was going back to some of those things that we've been used to seeing. So yeah, high-end systems haven't stopped for us. Getting hardware and components and things to deliver that definitely has been a challenge. But we've had to find ways of getting around those problems as well. So at the moment, I think the industry is coming back, and we're seeing some good growth again.
In terms of virtual production, and I know you guys have been involved in that for quite some time, how has that ramped up? I mean, we know that there was sort of a groundswell that was starting, but how has it evolved over the last 18 months, and how have you guys played a role?
Yeah, I mean, I think that's something that we were sort of quick to sort of look at, actually. I mean, we had sort of built-in technology through sort of doing things in sort of 360 VR, and obviously with the agility that we have with Mystica software in general, we were able to sort of start to exploit that. And you're right. I mean, sort of virtual production was already sort of starting with different things that have been done in the past, but because of the pandemic, because people couldn't do things in some of those traditional ways, that's kind of accelerated that. So, I mean, it's probably good actually to get Adrián to talk a little bit about what we've been doing, to be fair.
Yeah, sure. Well, when we started with our virtual reality technology, we didn't know at that time all the markets that are possible for this kind of content. For example, the virtual productions was something relatively new, but then we realized when it appears in the market, it comes in the market, basically we realized that our technology was really useful in that area as well. So all the technology that we have developed for virtual reality can be used as well for virtual sets too. So basically we realized when this started to basically be a thing in the post-production area, we realized that we have the whole ecosystem covered for virtual sets. We can just stitch the content from the beginning to the final delivery of the VR content for the virtual sets, and everything, all of our tools have been designed to work in that direction. So we cover everything. We have the finishing, we have the visual effects, we have the stitching, we have the post-production, the whole post-production done. So basically, I think we have basically right now the only system that covers that kind of ecosystem from the beginning to the final delivery. During these months, we have improved that part, basically making more accessible the communication with other softwares as well, because we know that these are complex workflows, and you normally don't do anything with just one software. So basically we have improved the communications with other software that can be used in the production of these kind of virtual sets, like compositing softwares like Nuke or Fusion, by creating some kind of bridge connection with them using a pre-advanced technology called STMaps, for example, which basically saves all the coordinates and all the metadata that we create in our softwares, and you can bring that metadata into this kind of compositing suites. We have included as well color space transformation, which is crucial for this kind of workflows because you normally need to work in color workflows like with ACES or working with raw footage because you use raw cameras and you need to make several color space transformations. So basically we have included advanced functionalities to our original VR toolset to make these virtual sets possible.
So in terms of virtual sets and your technology, were there things that you guys were planning and this sort of sped it all up? Or was it always in the pipeline?
It's basically in the pipeline already. But we are basically creating new tools to speed up the workflow because at this moment it's really slow. The communication between the production of this kind of virtual content, of these virtual backgrounds to the final part of the delivery is a bit small. It's a bit slow at this moment because you need to make several transformations of the media. So basically, we are working in the direction of a speed up that kind of workflow to make it more to make it faster from the beginning, from just with the raw footage that you are using for creating that kind of virtual backgrounds to the final project or the final delivery of those shots.
Yeah, I mean, I think we're very fortunate, Randy, that you know, like Adrián said, we had a lot of already inbuilt technology there that we could exploit, and so actually, through what we're seeing through customer demand and actually request is that, you know, they're coming to us and saying, hey, we need to do this, but there's lots of challenges along the way, so things are still problematic. So by taking what we have and just manipulating it and doing a little bit of development here and there and everywhere, we can actually make the process much better. And you know, for us, actually, probably over the last 18 months, one of the big things for us has been bespoke development. You know, we were working on some pretty incredible projects. Unfortunately, we're not able to talk about some of those, but really, you know, we're taking what we have and tailoring it to the customer requirements, which gives them a massive, you know, sort of boost in efficiency and benefit that will have, you know, when they're having some pretty challenging projects.
Okay, well, before I let you two go, I know that you are now supporting AJA's TTAP Pro. Can you talk about how that helps the workflow?
It's basically, the main idea here is basically to cover all possible hardware, to be open from the hardware perspective. We are not basically restricted by one specific brand. We are always trying to support any kind of hardware to make Mystic as open as possible. So it helps in the way that basically we are not limiting the user depending on the hardware that they are using, basically.
We want to give customers choice. At the end of the day, to do that, we have to support all different kinds of hardware, different platforms, different operating systems, obviously, and all the different codecs that come out every single day. There's something different, and you know, and obviously, you know, some of the new releases, you know, support, for example, you know, the Blackmagic Raw latest SDK. Those things are really, really important. You know, to enable our customers to choose, you know, what they might want to do. You know, the different software applications out there. And another actually recent development that we've done, which I think is hugely exciting, and actually we've been asked for this a lot, is being able to sort of do a VR preview through a headset. So we've got that coming in the sort of new release of Mystica VR, but actually it works in Mystica Boutique and Mystica Ultima as well. So again, because our software is all natively integrated, as we've spoken a lot about in the past, you know, all those bits of software get those developments. And that VR headset preview is wicked. You know, it's going to be great, and people are already on beta versions of that trying it out. So